Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm SheriffBananas. Today we're going to demo my basic makeup routine. I've been getting a lot of requests for a makeup tutorial from several different viewers. We tried to do one live one time. That was really fun. I tried to edit it though and it was really complicated, so I figured it would probably just be best if I just started from scratch and did a slightly different look but with the same concepts. Let's get going. So I like to start with my foundation. I use Bare Minerals for everyday wear. It is a loose powder. You're going to tap it into the lid like so. For the more problem areas, use a concealer brush and just dip it lightly into it and find your problem area and go from there. You can kind of smear it on like so and repeat everywhere that's needed. After you go in with the concealer for your foundation, you're going to use a bigger brush to kind of just like get everywhere else, you know, blend the concealer job you did. Take a little bit more. Swirl, tap, buff is how they recommend you use it. And then just go in all over your face. After I do my foundation is when I go in and do my eyebrows, because I have very sparse eyebrows and they're very blonde, so I like to darken them and fill them in. For this I use the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. I use it in the shade Blonde, and then I use a little angled eyebrow brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little brush and go somewhere and dip lightly along the brush in the pomade, and then go in from there. And I usually start at the top arch of my brow to make my reference lines for how this is gonna go. I'm gonna go in on the bottom there, and from there I fill that area in. After that I'm gonna go in to define this area of my brow, and to do this I start somewhere over here, almost at the start of my brow, and kind of outline where my brow kind of ends and sits up there. And then from there I also fill in on the way down. I also make a line on the bottom of the brow as well, and then fill that in. You're also using small little strokes when you do this, so as not to just like cake your eyebrow in pomade. After you finish the first brow, you're going to go in and start to do the second brow, so we're just going to do that really quick. It's also always good to remember your eyebrows are sisters, not twins, so don't fuss over one or the other too much, or you might fuck them up more. Next, we're going to go in with a brow highlight. So we're going to take a highlighter. I'm just using a pretty yellowish one. I believe I got this in a Birchbox. I can't read what it says anymore, but it's called Selfie, I guess. So we're just going to take some highlight and a small brush, and just swipe in there, and then we're going to go in under the brow to highlight that point there. Alright, next up, after we've done that, we're going to go in with the eyeshadow. So for today's look, we're just doing something simple that can work with most things. I'm using a color that most people have access to, which is a light brown, like almost a tan. For me, it is in the Alyssa Edwards Anastasia palette. I really like this palette. There's a lot of really good colors in here, and it's really pigmented. A lot of fallout, but that can be avoided. Today we're going to be using the shade Ho. It's just a light brown, little tan. And we're just gonna go in and pop that on. So for this, you can just use any tan that you have available. Something a little more pigmented will work a little better. So we're just gonna take, what I'm using right now is just this angled brush. One of my favorites, not really the greatest brush ever. This just came in a pack of brushes that I got, but it works really well, and I really like it. So, and you don't always have to have like the exact same brushes as someone else to do the same look. You can always replicate a look with different brushes. I use a lot of really cheap brushes actually, and they work pretty great. So we're just gonna go in with the Ho here. Go in with the Ho. I'm just gonna pop it in there. I'm not going to grind it in. You don't really need to do that with this palette, especially if you have like a harder eyeshadow that's like takes a little bit more oomph to peel it up from the stickiness of its home, then by all means. So we're just going to take that. I'm going to lightly tap to get the fallout off so it doesn't get all over my fucking face. Basically what I usually do is something similar to this every time with different colors and different variations, but it's usually mostly the same. So I just go in from an angle. See where my eyebrow is up here? Down to the corner of my eye. I'm making a line, sort of. This is gonna be the foundation of building up from there. So after I go in there, you can do this with any brush again. Just have to figure out how to do it in a little bit of a different way to get it to work. After that, I go in like a fanning motion up on my eye socket bone there, and then just kind of dude it in a little bit. And like there's a couple spots on my eyelids that don't take color as well as the rest for some reason. If this happens to you, you can just pack in a little bit more color in those areas. Alright, so we've got the basic shape there. We're going to go in and do that on the other eye as well. So as you can kind of tell, I'm not just covering my whole eyelid in eyeshadow. I'm going to these points here. So I'm like kind of going like mid eyelid up here, lightly to where my iris starts. And then I'm not covering this corner area or mid part of my eyelid because we're going to want to highlight that. So after we've got the shape down, we're going to go in and start blending. This is just e.l.f. brand blending brush. This is actually one of my favorite blending brushes of all time. I think it's about $1.50 at most stores in the US, so that's a pretty good deal, and I love it. It works great. I can always just get another one. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to go in this area and start down here. Even though there's not much there, there's little remnants, and you're just going to blend it out like so. And then you're going to go in through the top and do the same thing, but you're going to do light motions. We're going to blend all the way over. Take care not to just like drag down, because we're trying to still create a kind of cat eye-ish shape here. Right, and then you're gonna go and do that on the other side. Alright, so once you've got that blended, I like to go in with like a lighter shimmery color for this look. This time I'm using a gold on the same palette. The gold is called Inspire. We're just gonna take our bare finger, because for me this is the best way to get these wet eyeshadows up. You're just going to get some on your finger there, and you're just going to lightly swipe over your eyelid so you get about mid-eye there, meeting the point where I mentioned to stop with your eyeshadow. And that's going to give some dimension to your eye. You can go and do that on the other side. Sometimes I like to go in and get the corners of my eyes down here too, because I think that's pretty cute. To do that though, it's a little bit harder for me to use my fingers, so I like to go in with that super small brush we used for the highlight on the brow earlier. So once we've got that down, now here comes the fun part. We're going to start with the liquid eyeliner. I personally like to use felt tip eyeliners. Lately I've been getting into the pen ones. I usually like the dip ones because I can control how moist I'm getting the tip. So this is a Jante Blue, I think is what it's called. Art Makeup Liquid Eyeliner 24 Hour. This came in my Ipsy, I believe. It's got this kind of tip here. You can't really... Not really good at this yet, my apologies. We got this little tip here, it's felt tip, not brush tip, and this is what I prefer to do my liquid eyeliner. So we're just gonna go in. I don't see a lot of people do this, but for me this is easiest for me to do my eyeliner. So we're just gonna go in, we're gonna grab next to our eye, not on the eyeshadow, and we're going to gently pull to the side. I like to start right about here, at an angle, and then go in and down. Just to make this first line. From there, I like to make another angle with my eyebrow as, you know, a point of reference. So think about where the end of your eyebrow is, depending on how long your eyebrows are. And then we're gonna make a line. Sometimes it gets fucked up, that's okay, you can adjust. Gonna make a straight line like that. Sometimes your felt tip liners will get a little dry in the pen form, give them a little shake, maybe put the cap on for a second. And then I'm gonna stretch again, just lightly, and start not at the very tip, but just after the tip. Well, this liner's kind of fucking up, ain't it? I'm gonna start just after where you want the tip to be, because you don't want it to be too thick right there, or it won't look winged. There we go. You can see your lines could be kind of wobbly. I'm kind of fucking this up pretty hard right now, but you can go in and smooth them out and fix it. Also, when I'm doing my eyeliner, I don't make a line going all the way to the corner of my eye. I stop again near this side of my iris. Alright, once you've got that side done, go ahead and go to the other side and do that one as well. As you can see, I kind of fucked up this side, so I'm just going to go in with a Q-tip and wipe some of that away and adjust. Alright, now that your eyeliner is relatively even, who cares if it's a little fucked up, we're going to go in with our mascara. This is a It Lash Blowout, also came in my Ipsy. Cheap way to get makeup. I just open this up, do a little swoop swoop, get the junk off the end of it so you don't smear it all over your face by accident. And then you go in, look down, kind of, it's like you're looking down your nose. So you're gonna go in, you're gonna look kind of downwards, hit the bottom of your eyelashes and just roll up. Do this to every section of your eyelashes. Go in and do that on the other side. Voila, there you go, you have your eyelashes. For the final steps of this makeup routine is when I go in with my blush and my contour. I used to do that first or after I would do my foundation, but then I realized that that wasn't really working for me anymore, so I changed up my routine a little bit. And it's always okay to change up your routine. You don't have to do everything in a specific order just because someone on YouTube does. So first I like to go in with my blush. I'm using a Ciati London, not sure if I'm saying that right. Again, Ipsy. This shade is called Matchmaker. It is a very, very light pink, and it's got some swirls of pearlescent in there, I believe. Swirls of highlight in there, maybe. I'm not sure. So we're just going to go in with that. For this, I'm using a big floofy brush. Again, just a generic cheek brush, Ulta, whatever. You go in, lightly swirl on the top of it there. Usually blush isn't super foggy, so you're fine probably. So yeah, go in, lightly swirl on top right here, and then apply to the apples of your cheeks. I kind of go down my cheekbone a little bit as well, and just use big light motions because I don't want to put too much on. This gives a little bit more color to your face so you don't look like a fucking sheet. So after you do your blush, I like to go in with my contour after that. I use a powder contour. I'm pretty cheap and like to find workarounds, so instead of buying a whole contour palette, I just like to go to the drugstore and buy just like a, a generic like Maybelline or CoverGirl or something, dark shade foundation. And I find it works just the same. You don't always have to pay a lot of money to get the thing that you need. I think this came in an Ipsy or was like a sample grab bag type of thing, not really sure. I just take my brush and go in at the side and just lightly press, very lightly. And then I go in at the top of my cheekbone and just kind of swirl it down and around to define the area that you want defined. If you find you've gone a little bit overboard with this, and it's a little too defined where it's weird, you can always go back in with your powder foundation brush or another large brush and just kind of blend it out. Sometimes I just like to do that anyway, so I just go in and just lightly on the edges just to blend it out just a little bit so that it's not so stark. And sometimes I'll go right back over that with just whatever's left over on my blush brush. If you're you know, lazy bitch like me, you don't clean your brushes all the time. You should, but sometimes you just don't. Okay, so once you've got all that done, this is when I like to go in with my highlight. For this, again, Ipsy, I'm so sorry. We have a Daisy Pearl Natural Radiance Booster, Seraphine Bonacious. I don't know. It's a pretty nice highlight though. It's about this shade. I like to go a little bit lighter because I'm really pale, but this is just what I got right now that I'm digging. There's little bits of daisies in this. So we just go in with a little highlight brush, you know, nothing major. You can use your fingers, you could use any other brush, whatever, it doesn't matter. Get creative with it. And then just dip. I like to do some light swipes just on the top of my cheekbones there to highlight that. And then I like to go in on my nose and do a little swipe down the middle. And then just back and forth on the tip. Lightly. Not a big deal. I do a little bit on top of my lip as well. And sometimes I'll just brush in just a little bit under my cheekbones as well for that extra pop. As we get closer to finishing, this is around when I like to do my lipstick. I usually go on with a chapstick first and then apply my lipstick so that my lips don't get too dry. The lipstick I've been really into lately is a Belle Pierre Cosmetics in the shade Incognito. It's like a orangish, coralish, I don't even know how to describe it, but I really love the color and it's great. So we're just gonna go in with that. I like to start at my Cupid's bow and work my way out. And then from here, go in and adjust that lipstick if necessary. Sometimes it's a little bit too much for me and I'll go blot it on a paper towel. Well guys, there you have it, one of my basic makeup looks. This is very neutral, so it can go with pretty much anything. I personally love to match my makeup colors with my outfits for the day, but sometimes when I'm feeling just a little bit too lazy, this is kind of what I like to go with. Again, if you mess something up along the way, that's totally fine. These things take practice. I was never able to do perfect eyeliner. I still can't do perfect eyeliner every day. This is uneven. Most of it's an illusion. You can't really tell. But yeah, if you end up like messing something up and you have to like fix it or go back and adjust, like that's totally okay. It's all part of the process. You'll get better as you go. Makeup's basically just drawing on your face, and even if you're not good at drawing, you can still get better at it and get better at doing your makeup. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and comment below. If there's anything else you guys would want to see from me, whether it be makeup tutorials, other tutorials, what other kinds of videos you'd like to see me do, feel free to shoot me a comment down below. I love hearing your guys' feedback and your guys' input. You can also find us live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 12:15 p.m. PST. We like to hang out, chat, and fuck around. Anyways, I'll leave you to it. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.